Today, we are gonna see if we can squeeze a little bit extra power out of the Harley Sportster Iron 1200 today. All right, everybody, what is up? What is up? As always, thanks for stopping by to another video today. As you can see, we are in the garage with the Harley Sportster Iron 1200, and today we're gonna be taking a look at a little bit of some adjustments here. See and talk about a little bit of adjustments to the throttle cable and idle cable. See if we can squeeze a little extra power out of here. We're gonna take a look into the throttle body as well, because lately I had noticed my throttle had been feeling a little bit lackluster, maybe a little bit mushy or so. So of course, started searching around a little bit on the YouTube world, came across some videos where they did some cable adjustments, took a look at the little butterfly inside of the throttle body here where we suck all that air in. So we're gonna give that a shot today, do some little adjustments there and see what we can squeeze out of this thing. Alrighty, so like I said, we're gonna dive into the throttle body here first. Now, of course, as I was diving around the YouTube world, came across a lot of great videos on how to adjust the idle cable, the throttle cable, how it relates down here into the throttle body and the little butterfly in there. Obviously, some of the good ones I came across was Blockhead, Revzilla, all those different companies on there. A lot of great videos on there showing you how to make some of those adjustments and really what to look for. And really the thing that I was interested in is we're gonna pop this open in just a second. We're gonna take a look at that little butterfly in there. One of the things that we were gonna take a look at is how far that butterfly is opening when we're twisting the throttle. I had never really dove in there before or looked in there too much until I put this new air cleaner on, haven't looked in since. So it's gonna be interesting to see where that is. We'll be taking a look at it first glance. You'll be looking at it right along with me to see where we are with that. But before we get started, of course, drop any of your tips or tricks down there with throttle adjustments, cable adjustments, anything with the throttle body in here, what you think people should be looking for, anybody else that comes across this video, if you can help anybody else out down in the comments, go ahead and drop some of that down there, drop your experiences down there as well about how you've squeezed out a little bit more power or done some of these throttle and cable adjustments yourself to really kind of maximize the crispness of your throttle, the response, intake, all that good stuff. So we're gonna pop this cover off real quick. Alrighty, so we got the cover off. Now we're gonna work on loosening these up here to get the rest of the air cleaner off. Alrighty, screws are out there. Let's see if we can pop this thing off. Alrighty, so that's exactly what we wanted. Pop that thing off there. Now this is going to be the moment of truth here. So we want to take a look at how far this butterfly is going to open up. So we're going to see how it's going to go. Like I said, in some of the videos I watched, you saw some that where it would open like halfway, not quite as much, and you're not getting as much power there if you're not getting that butterfly all the way open and sucking in as much air as possible. Alrighty, so here comes the moment of truth. We're going to turn this throttle wide open and make sure that we get that butterfly all the way open within this throttle body. All right, so there you have it. So this, let's give it another turn here. So that looks pretty good. I mean, that's getting all the way open. I'm not seeing any angle in there. I don't see that we could get this any more adjusted. This thing seems to be twisting all the way wide open. There you have another look at it close up. What you would have an angle there if this wasn't getting all the way open. But as you can see, this thing is getting all the way open as far as I could tell. So I think we're in good shape there. But let's actually adjust these cables out here a little bit. We'll give you a look at what that butterfly would look like if it wasn't adjusted the right way. So you've got your idle cable in the back here. You've got your throttle cable in the front. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna back both of these out. We're gonna give you a little look at what that butterfly is gonna look like if it's not properly adjusted. Alrighty, so now you can see we got that all backed out. You're gonna have a ton of loose free play here in the throttle. And we're gonna come down and take a close-up look at this butterfly now with the loose throttle, see how far it opens. So now you can see is where we've got that angle there. It's not nearly as flat and as wide open as it was previously. So if you pop open your air cleaner, take a look at your throttle body there, and you've got that little issue with your throttle body, that's how you're gonna wanna adjust it, is you wanna get that thing all the way flat. when you have that throttle open. And that's how you know you're gonna have the proper adjustment and the maximum air and power coming in there. But anyways, let's get this thing adjusted back to the proper position and the proper free play in this. I think that's where I'm gonna need to have this tightened up a little bit. And I think that's where I'm gonna have that difference. I'm gonna make this a little tighter than we previously had it when we first started. All right, so as you can see there, we just did that adjustment up top, and we've got this thing back to fully wide open here in the throttle body. So you see we got all this free play here in the throttle. This is where I'm really focused on today for my purposes. Like I said, the butterfly in there, throttle body was already good. But now we want to tighten this up a little bit. You want about 1/8 to 1/4 inch of free play in there. So we're going to tighten this up at the idle cable here in the back. We're just going to give this a little twist and then monitor where we are. Still quite a bit there. Okay, so now see there, we may have went too tight. We don't have much movement there. We want a little more free play than that. So we're gonna back out this cable the other direction now. A little twist there. And I think that's right about right there. We want about 1/8 to 1/4 inch of movement there. Let's take it back down here, make sure everything is still working properly. Make sure that snaps back into place. Make sure we get wide open. So we got that where we want it. Now we're just going to tighten our nuts back up to the adjuster screws here. Slide our rubber boots back up. We'll get back down to the air cleaner in just a second. Alrighty, we're all set there. Let's pop the air cleaner back on. Last up, let's get the cover on. Alrighty, so there we have it. We've got the air cleaner back on now. We checked the butterfly. We're making sure it's getting wide open in there. Let's just go ahead and turn it on real quick for good measure. Alrighty, so there we have it. So next we are going to hop on and see if that little throttle adjustment made any difference there. Like I said, not expecting to see too much difference, obviously, with what was going on in the throttle body there. We already had that in a pretty good adjustment. I'm just gonna see if that cable adjustment made any difference. We're gonna hop on the bike and find out.
Alrighty, so we just hopped on the bike now, and real quick before we wrap this one up, just a couple first impressions of the throttle adjustment. Again, wasn't expecting too much of a big change there because, like I said, it looked like we already had that butterfly inside the throttle body. Pretty well adjusted, pretty wide open there as we were opening the throttle. Just a little bit more curious so on how the idle cable and throttle cable adjustment went. And I would say just a little bit of a better improvement, just a little bit of a crisper delivery, just a little bit more kind of like on demand here as I kind of like crack it a little bit. Like I said, I wasn't expecting a whole lot of changes there, but I think just kind of getting some of that free play out there. Again, you do want some free play within the throttle, but just tightening it up just a tad gives me just a little bit more crisper response. Like I said before, it was feeling just kind of a little bit mushy, a little bit soft kind of, as I would try to deliver some of that power. And now it's just a little bit more snappy right there, as you can kind of see. So I would definitely recommend that quick, simple little adjustment for anybody out there. Pop off your air cleaner, take a look at your free play, take a look at your cables, make any of those adjustments there. Just make sure everything's kind of good to go and working proper order. Again, obviously I am no mechanic by any means, but I mostly just took those little tips and tricks from some of the other videos that I had seen doing the same thing. Wanted to share my experience with anybody out there and how it went for me, and if it helps anybody, awesome, that's great. Go ahead and give it a shot yourself. very basic, very simple stuff. Anybody could do that. So of course, with all that said, we will go ahead and wrap this one up for now. As always, be a friend, tell them to stop by and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and like this video and drop a comment down there on your experience with any idle cable, throttle cable, any tips and tricks you have there for adjustments with those couple of pieces. And of course, as always, make sure you ride safe out there. Make it a good one, guys. It's a Moto John. We'll see y'all on down the road.